Uh, you got us in the wrong boxes on the screen.
Okay, I gotta move
Um,
people around.
I'm.
Brew.
My
Oh,
name is Flatus. How are you doing?
There we go. Gladys over
And George is
here.
George is Tenma.
Tim over here. There we go.
Oh gosh,
I
man.
could have just moved the titles, but that's too easy. There we go. All right. All right, we're all set up. Okay, awesome, guys. All right, let's get this thing underway because
All right.
we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. It was a bit of an off week show. I thought they were going to be switching up to the update every week, but they kind of stuck with that. Off week, 1 week of touring, 1 week of full updates. So we'll see how that pans out over the holiday weekend. But anyways, guys, my name is Cody. Welcome to Landmark Weekly, episode number 3. So happy to see each and every one of you out in chat here tonight. We have a big show. We're going to be talking with our special guest, Flat is here, who I really appreciate coming on. I messaged him last minute. He was able to jump on, and he's going to be answering any questions you guys have for him. And all that jazz. We have our usual panel here, Tenma and Geo with Landmark Explorers. So good to see both of you guys as always. And before we get into the show and stuff, Vladis, for the people out there who don't know you, what's your deal in Landmark? What do you do? I know you're part of a couple different communities and that kind of stuff in Landmark. Can you talk about what you do as far as Landmark goes?
yeah, sure. I co-host the Evercast show, which has been going over a year strong. Now we've I believe at this point we are the longest running EverQuest Next Landmark show. We started way before there was nothing even talked about. We started right before the SOE Live where they announced, which we just were assuming EverQuest Next, and then they came out of left field and announced Landmark as well. And we've been doing that ever since, and that's along with my co-hosts Kyle S, Tanlin, and Chewina. And we do that. We were doing it bi-weekly, and we do that every single Sunday now. Um,
Awesome.
and
What time is
yeah,
it?
8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and we go out there. We have a blast.
Definitely have a blast. I've watched it and it's awesome. It is a train ride that just
yeah,
it's
it's
amazing.
what, like, I'm slumming it. Like, it's flat as a slum. Like when I'm like high class, he's like, he's slumming it today. He's going. We're gonna be on Landmark Weekly. Like I'm the high. Nah, listen, I'm the one guy that's like, I'll show up. I'll go on any show. Anytime I can whore out Evercast, I'll go do it. Like it's like, hey, I'll just sit on a street corner and be like, go watch Evercast. Or like, what? Some dude's like throwing money at me. Like, look at these crazy homeless guys. That'd be me. But
Diggs is in here trolling. That's all right, Diggs. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I
uh,
I got to go. I got to go on the Evercast show one time so far, and I swear I enjoyed it. I did. It was a lot of fun.
Oh my
yeah,
God, they let you on their show?
I know.
we let a lot of people on this
Wow,
shit.
man.
Listen, we're eventually we'll get Sony, the SOE devs, hopefully on the show, and they will experience whatever this is about.
Awesome.
Don't know how
Dun,
that'll
dun,
work.
dun, dun.
Um, Apparently, I'm louder than anyone. Listen, when I show up, that's how things get. I'd rather get really loud or very soft. It's one of the two.
Ah, you're
Um,
fine. Sounds good to me.
yeah. Other than that, we do have an Evercast show guild, which we just kind of reserved, and then there's the Helsing Army, which is kind of my little community and guild, and we have the Evercast community, which is pretty much anyone that is a part of the EverQuest Next Ever Landmark communities, and that's it. We do that. We talk. We have a blast. We kind of take the concept of connecting gamer players to the games they play kind of to heart, because we want to make sure that the game, we're not experts, as I like when we kind of discussed, we're like, well, none of us are really experts, so why even try to fake it? So we're not experts, but we have opinions, and we will, especially me, I'll be the most boisterous person. I will say, raise my hand and be like, I don't think that works.
Well, there you
Indeed.
go. And, I think having an opinion is important. especially if you're active in the game, you're with the community, you're talking to people, and you're kind of getting a good idea. Because in a lot of cases, the developers don't have that connection with the community right now, and I think people like you, Flatus, out there getting kind of in touch with what's going on is important. And I think that's why I want to have you on the show, and I'm excited to dig into some of the stuff they talked about today. It was kind of a light show where they went in towards some different builds, but they did answer some pretty good questions. So we'll be talking about those questions. We do have the new blueprint that just came out, so we'll be talking about what they're going to be doing, what their plans are for the end of the year, and what they're going to try to get in, and all that kind of stuff. So we got a lot of stuff to jump into. So I'm just going to go straight down the list, take a look at what they've talked about, and kind of get your feedback on all that stuff. So the first thing, we're going to start from the bottom. They plan on adding new character creation with large and small scale humans. So we already knew that they were kind of doing that, at least with the large scale. But they didn't really talk about the small scale humans. So I'm kind of interested on your take. How do you think that new character creation system is going to work, and will it be important to Landmark?
What was that for me specifically?
Any of you guys out there?
I'm trying to find it on the list.
I think it's about time, because I think people are kind of, especially when you're coming up to like open beta, because you don't want, when you're coming into something like where we kind of knew what we were signing up for, we knew it was going to be very light, but when you're coming up to open beta, some people are going to expect some sliders, something a little more in depth, because they're going to be like, when they jump in, they're going to be like, what's this? And you can't just say, well, look, we have building, because people are going to want to be like, well, I like to be small, or I like to be big, or I like to be gigantic. And then I need, like, people want to see what they can slide around. And also it'll help get the idea going of what we can kind of see character creation going into EverQuest Next, and what people want. And so, are the sliders working? Are they too simple? Do we need to go more in depth? I think for EverQuest Next, I think maybe keep it lighter on the Landmark side, but maybe, or eventually just make it in depth and throw it in there and test it out before you put it in EverQuest Next. And I would like that. Yeah. I had a fat Jedi.
I want the slide. I want. I think the slider scaling would be better, just because, I mean, when I make my character, that is one of the most important parts of the game, because that character will represent me. And if you give 3 body types, then I have 3 choices. That's it. A scale, I can scale that sucker exactly the way I want to. It gives me more options. I could have up to, like 30 different body sizes to choose from. And that should go with color of the eyes. I want to be able to slowly increment, color all across the spectrum. Same thing with my hair. I don't want, the presets. I don't want to have my character exactly like another character in the game, period. In the story. And I like having those options for that simple reason. All the way down to tattoos, to eye color, how big my freaking eyebrows are, because I don't really have too many right now.
They're growing back pretty good.
And so, and that kind of option is very important to me. And I mean, gosh, I mean, look over at what's the name of that other MMO now? I can't stand
Arcade.
Arcade. I did like the one thing about Arcade. The one thing about Arcade is you could customize to a T exactly what you wanted, and that right there speaks millions to me. Even though really didn't like the gameplay.
I'm not gonna lie, it blew my mind where it's like, oh, tattoos,
Yeah.
and then I was like, wait a minute, I could slide the tattoo around my face, like twist. I was like, oh, done. Like
And
that's
stretch it out.
Stretch
and
it
pull
out.
Yeah, excellent options, and that's what I'd love to see in EverQuest Next.
So
Yeah.
let me ask you, Gio, do you think that's what we're going to see? Do you think we're going to see those sliders, or do you think we're going to see those fixed body types, something more like Star Wars The Old Republic?
I think we'll get sliders. I really do. I put my money on that.
Okay.
I don't have any inside information of any kind, but they better do it. Or
Yeah, or Tim is going to be
Tim is
pissed.
gonna jump out there and kick butts.
He wants eyebrows, adjustable eyebrows. So we'll see.
I
but-
want adjustable eyebrows.
You know, it's a hard thing.
Wants
but-
eyebrows.
Because if you look at the depth of their facial animations and stuff, and how much detail is into that, it makes you wonder, you know, how adjustable we will be able to do with the facial stuff, and how that would impact the animations and all that kind of jazz.
Put my eyebrows all the way up here, so I always look surprised when I'm running around. And I'm like, hey, look at Flatus. Like he's always surprised. Look at everything. Look at it. It's so great. It's like always shocked.
I want to have tattoos that when my character blinks, you see painted eyes, you know, behind the eyelids.
Like Indiana Jones.
No, not Indiana Jones. The Pirates.
Oh,
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Caribbean.
Yes, that's it. You know, those kind of options would be just awesome. I mean, I don't know. I want my character to be mine. I don't want it to be 50,000 other people that are playing the game and then run into them repeatedly. You know,
Which we are kind of seeing in Landmark. You do see a lot of the same character types, but you know, like they said, they're going to be going in depth. They're going to give us a whole bunch of new features, small body types, large body types. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, so real quick, or let me change the subject. They said they're going to be putting in Tier 5 mats with the new cave system, so that's cool. It's going to be at the bottom of the cave. I think we all expected that, but it was kind of nice to get the clarification that there will be Tier 5. Did you guys have any thoughts about that or anything? I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, right?
Yeah.
Okay, next, Team Up's new program. They will be asking us, the players, to help them build the game. The first version will be ruins and ancient structures buried underground. They will be building some internally already, but they'll also be accepting player structures as we submit them. And I think the coolest thing is they gave us this kind of like template set that we're going to be using to, you know, have the dimensions and everything all set up for us, so we're not confused about what we're trying to, you know, the parameters that we're trying to work in. So I think it's cool, and we were talking a little bit about this before the show because Jeff Butler mentioned it on the workshop, and you know, he said they're going to be taking submissions for that and that kind of thing. So now that we know it's part of the Landmark side of things and it's going to be implemented directly in the game, I mean, I think that's pretty exciting to see stuff that players made be actually usable and implemented directly into Landmark. So Flatus, let me start with you. What do you think about this new Team Ups program, and do you think it's going to be successful?
I think it is, because we see a lot of people creating a lot of good stuff. Like I think stuff almost the developers don't have the time to create. Like if they were given the time, because remember they're also creating EverQuest Next alongside Landmark, so they're already, I'm pretty sure, stretched very thin. So when the player creates something that they may have not thought of, it gives that player a chance to be like, all right, well, let's team up with you and see what you can do. It almost goes back to that old school, and I from old interviews talking to Dave Jordan about early like EverQuest Next stuff. You know, he when he worked on PlanetSide 1, he would always like try to find people. I guess he was mentioning a guy that he knew in Australia that create maps for planets, like, and they wanted to hire him because they didn't have he created some great stuff, and then they just didn't have the resources or the it's always cool to see that when you're giving someone the tools, they may think or create something that you don't think of, and it's good to see where that talent comes from and recognize that talent. And you never know, a lot of the people in SOE that work there now played the games before they ever got there, like Domino and Smoke Jumper, like Dave himself. Like a lot of these people never worked at SOE until they played the games and started developing. And if you're really good, you never know. You may be on Landmark Live hosting it one day, working for SOE. I would just say go for it. If you're really good, you never know where it could lead.
All right, I'm gonna paste this link for everybody. That way they can check out what Team Up is actually.
I think it's an awful idea.
Awful.
Because
Elaborate.
my OCD is going to kick in, and that's all I'm going to be able to freaking think about is building these stupid things for the freaking caves. Oh my God, are you killing me?
Well, the only thing I don't like about this is they've given hardly any at all of the props that are currently in the cave systems as we have now. The crystals that have been in the ice caves for I don't know how long. We don't have those. The plants that are in the desert ones don't have those. The ones that are in all the other cave systems, none of those props. We own none of those as props at all. So actually making something that will fit in a particular biome is going to be a challenge without us having those to make it blend in where it should be blending in at.
I've seen lots of great crystal props. Crystal voxels looking like props. Yeah, it's everywhere. Hey, Cody, you're still muted, buddy.
I don't hear you.
I'm pulling Tanlins all night. All right.
There we go.
Oh!
Burn.
But yeah, I think that's a great point, Tema. We do need those biomes to see how those structures can fit in. I think it's a great opportunity for people to show off their work, get it exposed to the player base. And I'm excited about it. I think it's really cool. I wonder how it's going to compete, if it will compete with the normal EverQuest Next workshop, and if that's going to be a bit of a conflict there. But hopefully it'll all gel together, and I want to see, what people from the older, like EverQuest 1 games can bring in some of that older style stuff into these ruins to really, because that's, most of the people here are fans of EverQuest 1 or even, older MMOs, and I would love to see, some of that stuff come back into Landmark so we can kind of explore and discover it again. All right.
I want to see what Catchy builds. Oh my God.
The Bob Army.
I was in her build, and there's, dude, it's just too graphic to even talk about on your show.
The torture chambers.
It'd be awesome.
I knowing Catchy, it was probably more than that. I mean, I kind of like the horses on the last community build.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, I did those.
Who the hell did those? Oh, you! Oh my God.
They were performing coitus.
They're making baby horses. That's what it's natural. All natural.
The newest Shakespearean play.
As Taulerker would say, they were performing coitus.
All right, so one thing that Terry mentioned, which I thought was pretty cool, they're talking about having template sharing as a new feature. So right now you have to, do the claim swaps and all that kind of stuff. But now they're talking about implementing a system where you can actually just swap templates with each other freely. So I think that's a really great direction that they're talking about going. I hope they follow through with it. And
Lady Kathleen can throw away her anti-anxiety medicine.
Yeah, she'll definitely be happy about that. But I wonder, if they do change that system to where we're sharing templates via, these little pieces or whatever. How will that affect all the cool swaps that we have? Will it make those swaps irrelevant in the future? Because I personally love the swaps. I love visiting them. I love checking out the whole area. And if they're no longer needed, if there's no place for them in Landmark, that could ultimately hurt the global trade of all these, cool template stuff.
I don't think
what
it's
will
going
it
to
do
change.
to Player Studio is what. Yeah.
I don't think it's going to change. Any of those template swaps, because those are basically museums. I mean, look at Lady Kathleen's. I mean, she's got it all organized to where you can walk around and see things that you have never seen before, and it's all player made. Plus, having the ability to go, oh, I like that. That's really cool, and going and grabbing that sort of thing. Now, Cody, myself, we've been working with Dave here recently on setting up starter templates. And also there's going to be the ability, also have the ability to actually find templates inside chest or monster kills and all that kind of stuff to build up a basic set for new players, which is awesome. but that only has but so much limitations to it. I mean, there are so many boards out there that I don't see them ever making into templates that you can find on creatures. So there's still going to be a need, for, all these different places like Lady Kathleen's, and, there's just too much out there. It can't all be made into templates. And at some point you're going to have to look at it and be like, why can't I do this? And then you're going to go out and look for it to try to find somebody that has approached that problem the same way. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to find it at one of those swap meets. So I don't see it killing the swap meets in the least. If anything, it's going to promote them and be like, hey, there's more out there. Cool. Let's go look for it.
Yeah, and someone in chat just mentioned, maybe they could wrap up those templates and sell them through claim vendors, But I think Gio kind of just alluded to how will that affect the Player Studio sales, and will that negatively impact the people who are trying to make money off those templates? And I certainly could see that as a possibility. But I think, the general community loves sharing. We love giving back to each other and helping each other advance forward. It's just kind of, up in the air as far as how we can actually profit, especially the people who want to build and make money. How can they profit, through this game, and how can they make it, viable for them? So it'll be interesting to see.
Cody, I think there are things that people are creating that just don't really fit well in a swap meet. Like that if they want to sell it. For instance, if I take one of my frigates and turn it into a one claim frigate, it's too big to be doing at a swap meet. It's a lot of materials. That's the kind of thing that Player Studio is the right fit for. So I think if the guys at Sony figure out how to adjust their business model, their monetization, so that they keep the income stream they need to keep Landmark charging full steam ahead and their other projects, but realize that community sharing in Landmark is a core feature of the game. It's a core draw of the game for the community. Seriously.
Well, the Player Studio, in my honest opinion, is crap. And the reason why I think it's crap is for the simple fact that I can't make something in, let's say, gosh, I can't even name the thing, 3D Studio Max or Blender or something like that, and make an item and be able to put that item on that Player Studio and people purchase it as a prop. In some form or fashion.
I think their goal is to have that's definitely, they've said it repeatedly, that they want that ability. They're going to add it.
I'm not so sure about that, Joe.
I asked about that on the show the other day. Cody was there, and I asked him. I was like, "Hey, what about being able to import from this for Landmark?" And he said specifically, "We have no plans for that." And I was like, "What?" That's what everybody's been told, that would be able to create props and stuff to bring them into the game. And I was like, are they pushing that back so far on the burner that it'll never happen?
Well, I think what they're trying to do is use the Voxel Forge system to make props inside of Landmark. So I think they want to keep it all wrapped internally within Landmark, and I think that's kind of what they're working on now, trying to get that locked down. But I did hear on the SOE Live inside the Player Studio that they wanna definitely in EverQuest 1 and PlanetSide 2 and all of their even H1Z1, they're definitely doing that, where players can submit their own templates or their own 3D props and have them sold directly in game. And I think they want to do that with Landmark, but they're kind of holding off bringing in the polygon props because I think they want to do it inside Landmark using the Voxel Forge system.
Oh my gosh, you realize how much of a pain in the ass it's going to be to create something with Voxel Forge to the level of what you could do in one of these other 3D programs.
Well, You guys have the right guild for that. You got to make it super freaking big and smack that sucker into the Voxel Forge and then scale it down. Yeah. And it'll have crisp, sharp detail.
Yeah, your Karen Colossus, for example. Imagine that at 1/100th the scale, and it would look freaking phenomenal.
You're sitting on the keys to the kingdom, David.
I've got my Popeye face looking going on right now because I think that's BS.
Start cursing under your mouth. Start eating spinach, get all big armed, and start punching things. That'd be great.
So what do you think about that, Flatus? Are you for the Voxel Forge system, building actual 3D structures and converting them into polygon meshes for props and Landmark?
I'm of the party where I think that both have their merits, and why not have both? We have props. I can understand like they want them wanting to have props that they can create within Landmark. I think that gives them a little more control over what is being made, almost, and what they're doing. But I also agree with Tenma in that that the people that can do, let's say, like take me for instance, I'm not great with the tools in Landmark, but I may be great with those tools outside of the game, like 3D Mark or creating something outside of the game, and be like, this is an awesome prop. I bet that would look great in Landmark, but I have no way of sharing that. And I'm may not be good at these tools, but I'm good at these tools, and I want to share more of what I can do outside the game with the game. In that sense, like I may like Landmark more for like combat and other things, but if I can put a prop in something that outside the game, that opens it up for more people that may not be good with other, like the certain tools that they're supplying, and allow other people that are great with outside tools do that. And they're already doing it with their other games. It almost seems silly not to allow it. Why not have both?
At a minimum, they need to open it up so people can submit new skins for weapons, shields, and outfits.
Cloaks. Yeah.
That's really right. That's for me the biggest. You can't do that with a Voxel Forge.
I mean, being able to make something that's like this small, round, okay, when this is the voxel size, you can't do that.
Yes, you can.
At all.
No, David.
In Voxel Forge.
Yes, you have to make it huge.
You cannot do it.
You have to make it huge, and then it sizes down. It scales down in the Forge. When it gets converted to a prop. That's where you get your sharpness.
Be able to scale it. You got to be able to scale it.
After it gets processed through a Voxel Forge, then
it's not possible, man. It's not possible.
Well, I think that's what the Voxel Forge system will allow us to do. You turn it into a mesh and you scale it down. Once you turn it into a mesh, it's possible.
Voxel Forge has nothing to do with that. Voxel Forge is being able to take a voxel, grab the corners, and pull it like this. Okay? That's all. That is all it does.
No, Dave. That's a voxel editor. You're confusing
voxel
editor
Forge.
and voxel Forge. It is. Jeff has talked about Voxel Forge being something to take a set of voxels that you've made and convert them to a prop, to an object.
But I think, Gio, you bring up an interesting point. What about costumes and things with skeleton structures and things of that nature? That definitely seems like something difficult to do in a Voxel Forge system, especially if you're talking about particle effects and flowing materials, all that jazz. So I think the best solution would be having both aspects, like Flatus suggested. Give us all the options. Let us use our creativity. Let us use our past knowledge of 3D programs to influence this game in the best way possible. So I hope that they do open it up to that, like they have with EverQuest 1 and the H1Z1 and all that stuff. So I think ultimately I think they'll open it up, but right now it seems like they're locked in and they're trying to really, really focus towards that Voxel Forge system.
But I tell you, one thing's for sure, they watch all of our shows on Twitch. They are watching. So we just got to keep bringing it up, let the community come in, give their opinion, and share it.
Yep, and you guys out in chat, let us know what you think. Like Gio just said, they're watching, so let them know. Do you want to have 3D programs be applicable in Landmark? Do you want to bring in your own props, your own costumes? I think it would be cool. It seems like why not, right? Why not? So, okay, real quick, I want to bring it over to tomorrow. They're planning a hot fix, so get ready for that. That's going to be in the morning, and hopefully they will finally fix the death on teleport. I mean, it has been outrageous. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone here has experienced dying on teleport.
The Landmark lawn dart game. Oh my God. Need I say more? Holy crap.
Yeah, it's really kind of outrageous at this point. So hopefully they have a fix for it. And I don't even know what caused it. I don't know what would cause that problem, because I know some people from like the Euro servers who play on US servers have the issues, but
not enough beer. That's what caused it.
I don't understand where that does not constitute a playability issue. I really don't. It prevents me from getting to where I need to go. I have to constantly raise myself at the hub, which is 50 miles away from wherever it is I want to go. Once I get there to the hub, I've got to wait 2 more minutes before I can teleport again. And that is still the chance that I'll die again and then have to return to the hub and repeat the process all over again.
But it's most fun. It's most fun on live TV.
Have you experienced that at all, Flatus?
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely
I died 3 times in a row trying to get to Dave's property to look at this team up crap. I got over there finally after the 3rd teleport from the hub.
I thought it was me at first. I was like, maybe it's just my computer. No. I know I need to upgrade it a little bit, but then I was like, I kept dying, and I was like, am I just so bad at Landmark that I die just on the world around? Like, I'm just like I came in crate things. I'm not even PvPing right now, and I'm dying. This is great. This is horrible.
And that's the problem. Is it the first thing people think, is it me? Is it my computer? And that is a huge risk for Landmark, because people will stop playing the game if they keep dying consistently and think that their machine can't run it. Certainly, I think it is a huge issue, and hopefully they fix it tomorrow. So it's on. Either way, they're working on it, so that's always good to know. Okay, deciduous forest, volcanic biome, and the ocean biome should be coming during December, and will be releasing new island shapes when they release those new biomes. So I'm pretty excited about that. Different kind of island shapes, and hopefully we'll finally get some flat ground, because I'm certainly sick of all the mountainous areas and stuff, especially with the 9 claims that we have now to build on. Yeah.
I got a question real quick about this. So Flatus, do you remember in the beginning of Alpha when they were talking about the size of the islands were currently at 2 miles and they were going to go to 20? Do you remember that?
Yep.
What's Absolutely. Up with that? Anybody? Come on. Talk to me.
I don't even remember that.
I do. And I almost wonder if they're going to wait to see what population looks like once they go free, open it up to open beta and start bringing people in. Because we had when we first came in, we had that mad rush, and every area was taken up, and that was one of the first things. They're like, oh, we're going to expand. This is just what it is right now. We'll just open up more islands, and it'll change as we'll grow them out, so it won't be such a thing. I think that they're going to have an issue where there's a lot of islands or a lot of servers, and they're the same size, which I don't see why you would do that. I think you would just be better off making larger islands.
And add delay lines and add some sort of transportation, sensible transportation around there.
Yeah, I'd also like to see
flingers.
That's one way.
Sorry.
I like the idea that every island's different. There's different things on. They're like, oh, there's a snow island. There's this, but I would almost like to see like them meshed together, like some sort of Pangea, sort of one big massive.
Give us a big ass island and put all the stuff in it.
Yeah,
I would like to propose to any dev that is watching this show at some point in time
All of them.
that when you go to click on a server and then you click on an island, when you click on an island, it shows you a picture that represents that island and what constitutes that island as biomes.
Seems logical to me.
We shouldn't have to go onto the forums to find out. I should be able to see it right there visually what it is going to look like.
Yeah, you're like, oh, peaceful. That sounds nice. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's lava. What?
Or the
That doesn't
international
represent
no
anything.
Or the international
Yeah.
no symbol and a picture of a gnome.
Yeah.
No gnomes.
Yeah, I mean, it would make, going over and your choice of where you want to build a heck of a lot simpler than to have to bunny hop. Oh, okay. Oh, no, I don't like this one.
Or like a little-
I gotta go find this one.
Or like little symbols, like water's waves and like a little the snowflake for ice, and like that way you kind of like, oh, okay, that's a snow biome. I know I'm going to some sort of snow biome. All right, perfect. That's where I want to be.
Yeah.
I want snow, and I need the stuff in that snowy area. You don't even put a picture. Create a little symbol.
Yeah,
Exactly.
just some icons to let us know, right?
Yeah.
Just asking for a simple way to find out where the F I'm going. That's all I'm asking.
Well, an icon for a desert could be a cactus.
There
Yeah.
you go. Perfect.
Yeah. Boom. Done.
What would deciduous forest be?
Tree. Picture of a tree.
An owl. I don't know. All right. Real quick, I want to go over all the claims that they looked at because they were really quite beautiful. There was Tamara's Ice Castle, which, wow, I haven't seen that before. That was with the Chosen Gaming, so they do a lot of PvP and stuff. And I was really impressed by that castle. There's some really nice architecture in it.
It looked cold.
It was definitely cold. There's Bob Dobbs Ocean Lab. That was awesome. Kadia's Biome Greenhouse. That was really cool. Oh, here's something. They plan on having, this was kind of in the wrong spot, but they plan on having a full-featured weather system for Landmark. So they haven't really talked about that too much, and I'm stoked about that.
We saw like bits and pieces of that with H1Z1, their implementation, something they were working on at least for H1Z1. So them actually porting that over in some form or fashion, I can sort of kind of see that happening, definitely.
Are we talking zombie tornadoes? Zombie-ado?
Skullnado.
It's Sharknado.
So,
No, on our show this morning, we were talking about weather. We threw that out there. And what weather do you guys want to see in the game first?
I want to see, I would love to see blizzards with like snow that voxel snow that piles up on your houses.
Yes,
stuff like that. I mean, that would be really, they need to push the voxel engine. They need to show what it's capable of. And I think adding layers of materials is definitely something they could do. They could even have, leaves pile up. They could have sand pile up. Really, anything. It's
I
just
got
a
y'all
matter of-
all beat.
What do you got?
I got y'all all beat.
Sandstorm.
I want to see hail and lava storms that cause damage when it hits you.
Lava storms. Oh,
my
that's
God.
wicked.
You're a sick man.
That is wicked. Acid rain.
Fun cover. I want to see stuff like that.
That would be awesome.
It would take like one hit point at a time or something like that, and so you had plenty of time. And of course, you got health regen that kind of pulls it back up as you're running or whatever. But still, it's like you have to like find like a lean-to or something, or get under a tree or something like that to
Tree
and
catches
wait for it
fire.
to pass. Yeah. And then you just wait for it to pass. And then once it passes, then you go out there. And yeah, Pantera, like earthquakes. Oh my
man.
gosh. Yeah. Give us earthquakes where it's like, a hailstorm hits and then I'm like, woo, I'm safe now. And then the earth just opens up and I fall in. I'd love to see stuff like that. That would be great.
and then there's the weather. Then there's the weather pattern that is the single biggest threat to the jungle near you at the 419. Woodcutter's local, man. You remember when those guys deforested an entire freaking island?
Oh, yeah.
That'd be fun.
Definitely would be interesting to see how the different weather systems could affect the builds. Like, say, for instance, with the woodcutters, say you chop down a bunch of trees, maybe it causes desertification, where desert starts creeping over.
Yeah, they'd be screwing with the biomes. I love
exactly.
If that was the case, I would never do anything but cut down trees the whole time I played the game,
I think there'd be a lot of trolls.
just so I can make people mad. But like, it used to have trees.
There'd be planters out there. There'd be a guild that crop up just planting trees.
Flatus would be sitting right next to me on the other tree, going, "Sup?"
Yep. I would have the Helsing Army lumber mill too, just sitting out there like a big old sign, all this wood out the back. They're like, "Can we have some of the wood?" Nope. What are you gonna build with it? Nope. So what's it there for? Looking pretty.
Like, devs, I'm telling you, the player community wants this. They really want real environments, weather systems that are affected by player action, or rain. We need rain to grow the trees. There you go.
Norbert Denoy just says wildfires in chat. That would be excellent. Seeing flowing fires across the Sahara or whatever, it would be sick.
And people would have to fight against guys like me and Flatus by going behind us and planting little trees.
Yeah. Hippies.
They ask me why I drink.
You would. You want to turn a desert back into a forest? Plant some trees, buddy. Plant some trees.
Hope it rains.
Just move the
Do a little rain dance, whatever we gotta do.
Alien invasion. Let's open it up to anything.
Ooh, avalanche. That sounds cool.
The old SimCities 2, alien invasion. Aliens coming out and start invading.
Why not? Genre neutral or whatever.
Yeah.
Tinma Appleseed.
Yeah, I love all
The
that.
Landmark Arbor Society.
So, I mean, honestly, do you guys think that we're going to see that level of a weather system? Or do you think it's going to be, something more where it's just like, when you're in the winter biome, sometimes it'll snow. Do you think they'll go to that extent of having the earthquakes and the actual voxel snow that would pile up?
Who we need to be talking to is Miguel.
Yes, he would know.
Get Miguel working on that stuff. And then,
well, earthquakes, no, you really wouldn't have to unless you were like actually splitting the ground open. But I don't see that happening. But they could implement earthquakes simply. I mean, they could just have like a rumble effect where you hear it and make the screen kind of shake a little bit when it happens, and boom, you got earthquakes. You don't have to split open the ground in the process. So I mean, that's kind of something simple to do.
Dynamic water. We saw dynamic water at SOE Live.
Yeah,
and I think dynamic snow is really not that much of a stretch in some regard. I don't know.
Yeah, but some of the others, I think, like rain, snow, that sort of thing, would be volumetrics, which of course you would have to go in there with like particle effects of some sort, and just have it a moving particle effect within that volume space. And we haven't heard anything about volumes for a while now, and that was something that they said that they wanted to bring in, which I could put down a volume and be like, hey, I want this to be mist or fog or something like that, and I could set parameters for that. If I stepped inside of it, I took damage and stuff like that. We haven't heard anything about that in a while, so that kind of steps back over into the environmentals again, but it's like player control environmentals. I don't know.
Yeah, I would love to see that the volume, or them talk about those volumes again, because those are just so useful for game mechanics, right? For PvP maps, you want to have those areas that are inaccessible. Denial of movement is huge for PvP maps. Force players into certain areas using that kind of system, and give players the ability to knock people over into the acid or the spikes or whatever. So I hope they get into that soon. All right, so let me. I'm going to jump over to the blueprint because they've recently updated that, and I wanted to go through the list of updates for December 3rd. So We got a bunch of cool stuff coming on the list. Achievements, that's going to be huge. I mean, I'm personally not a huge fan of achievements in general, but at the same time, it's nice to know that your stuff's being tracked. And here it says, the new user experience, long-term goals, and events are all tied into the achievement system. And once it works, we can finally make Landmark feel more like a game. So I think they're, what do you got for that, Timma?
You don't have the 1 million Moonstone achievement. Don't talk to me.
Jeez.
I wonder if they're going to have the contest winners. Will that be a part of the achievement system?
I'm pretty sure of some sort. You might get something for that, but I don't.
You already get something.
They started adding the titles, right, with the ghoul or whatever for the winner of the Halloween contest. They have the titles, they have the outfit, pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
So I wonder if we'll get awards for these achievements. We'll get special outfits, maybe some unique picks, maybe things like that.
Me personally, I don't think that should be a part of it, of achievements.
What do you think achievements should be?
Things you actually do in the game outside of contest. That I honestly think that should be something separate. I mean, you get a title or something for winning a thing, but if you may get another type of a title through an achievement that you've done in the game, like beating some 50,000 gnolls or something down in the cave system. I mean, I think that should be separated. I mean, yeah,
like lumber or something like where you cut down 10,000 trees, then you get a title for that, or you
Pantera got a 1 million rope scrap.
Yeah, Moonstar Master.
Yeah,
1 million Moonstone, baby.
Title Sailor Moon.
Sailor Moon. Popeye. Yeah.
We did a whole show a while back on achievements and the achievement system, reward system. And I've got a big document for that. So I'm waiting to see what they roll out, and then we'll use that as potential feedback for them. But there's so many opportunities for achievements in all aspects: exploring, visiting claims,
PvP.
Yeah, PvP, yep. Indeed, PvP, building.
Now, I will say that if they implement this achievement system the way I think that Dave is wanting to implement this achievement system, the achievement system is going to actually fold into how many claims you actually have when you start out the game. Once you reach certain steps, okay, you've played for this amount of time, you've done something to this point where now you get your second claim, and then over a period of time you've played for X amount of time, and now you have your third claim. So the more you play, the more claims you have, and this was what was basically presented to me at the end of Alpha, when we were basically just pounding Dave for as much information as we possibly could. And I honestly see that once we go from closed beta into open beta, that is going to be into effect. If our current amount of time that has been spent is going to be reset, I don't know.
I would imagine so. I feel like most of everything is going to get reset in that regards. But I think there's definitely a lot of opportunity. People in chat are saying, finding chests, and I can imagine, just all like Gio said, they have endless possibilities. Time played, just that fact would be really useful to kind of make sure that there's not a bunch of junk claims in the world. I think no one wants that. Everyone wants the world to be beautiful and everything to be kind of taken care of. So hopefully the achievement system can help facilitate or govern that process.
If I had the ability to create an achievement myself, it would be 5 stages of being able to put up with Timma's shit. I put up with Timma's shit for a month. Okay, stage 1, and then all the way to 5, which you've lasted a year.
Okay, so I'm only at stage 3.
And that would get you the title of Smoke Jumper.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, good stuff. All right. So next on the list, they have Dark Elf. The Dark Elf and Landmarks of Landmark competitions are going to, I guess it doesn't really specify, but I think they're going to get retroactive prizes for that. So that's pretty cool. So if anyone out there in chat won the Dark Elf competition or the Landmark of Landmark competition, I think you're going to be getting some retroactive prizes for that. Probably some of those in-game prop items that we've been seeing for the Karen winners.
Yeah, it's like the stand that you got for the Karen. It's sort of like that, but it's for the Dark Elf.
I think that's cool that they did that because they really didn't have to. So I mean, badass.
Think of it like you can set up like a mantle of all your winnings. I am just the badass. And who would have the biggest one of that? Fugazi. Yeah,
he won three.
He'd have some competition.
He won 3 Karen contests. That's outrageous. Outrageous. He'll have 3 of those statues. So awesome. I'm so jealous of that guy.
Pretty crazy.
So we got sorry, Flatus, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you want to know how good I am? Points to all 3 statues. I'm 3 statues.
What's up? What's up? Where's yours? Where's yours?
Yeah, he's gonna take screen caps and tape in front of his statues like this. Just his character.
So we got a crafting window reskin. So including search fields. So search fields, we've been asking for that for a while. I'm kind of excited about that, especially for finding props and things like that. We're not going to have to scroll through to find that one stupid prop, which we know the name of. We'll be able to search it. So that's definitely good. And all this is coming December 3rd. We have new chat improvements. So they're going to add to usability to make chat easier. They're going to add, better chat channels, that kind of stuff. So that'll be cool. Claim banner improvements. Not much info on that yet, but I guess that should be more descriptive, a little bit more helpful. We're getting the starter templates. That's huge. So we're getting arches, discs, pillars, all kinds of different basic smooth shapes, things like that to build with. I think that's something we've all been waiting for a really long time.
And which they were all created by players, and basically quite a few of us sit around and help clean them up, made them as perfect as we possibly could. I got to work on a few. Not as many as some of the other guys did, but I dropped down my board claim over by Smoke Jumper's claim and was like, there it is. Have at it. Because I didn't know exactly what he was looking for, and, I was like, I've got a mixture of stuff from the beginning of alpha till pretty current. And it's all on one claim. You want it, there it is. Pull out what you need. So.
Yep, I think this just cylinders. I mean, we haven't had cylinders yet. That's such a primitive shape for us not to have yet. So I think that's much needed, and it's going to save people a lot of time. And I think, like Tim has said, I think it's cool that they're bringing in the community to help facilitate some of that stuff. And I think for the second phase of it, they're going to even have more intricate templates that are going to be player made that we'll discover in caves and off mobs and that kind of stuff. So pretty exciting. And
I want a template for Candela's glasses with straws. Oh my God!
No.
How does she do that?
That's a chest item. You can't touch that.
No, you gotta slay a named mob for that crap. Oh my God.
That was a dragon for that.
Yeah, that was one. That was a build that they visited. Candela's no prop build. So if you guys saw that today, I mean, just spectacular. Really, really amazing work. Like I can't.
She's done stuff with voxels that even the dev team cannot figure out. They cannot duplicate.
Yep, absolutely. Like, just spectacular. So go visit that claim, Candela's claim. They visited Rogue Comet's Biosphere project. That was cool. Pretty creative way to, like, show off the little miniature builds and stuff that he was doing. They had Adjor's sci-fi build. Really nice stuff. Spider Eyes is beautiful. and Cyrus's Glass PvP Pyramid Arena. So I thought they did a really good job pointing out some of the exceptional builds and exceptional builders out there. So I think if you guys want to be featured on that, they mentioned, make sure to use their forum and post on there and let them know what you're doing. Let them know what you're up to, because they really do need you to put the stuff right in front of them. Tweet them, put it on the forums, let streamers know. Like Geo, he goes and visits places every morning on the Morning Brew. Temma, he's always he hasn't been streaming recently because he's been doing a lot of these tutorials, which are going to be amazing. If you haven't checked out his YouTube, make sure to go check that out. And Flatus, of course, another huge community member who, he has a show, he has a platform. So if you want to get your stuff shown, hit up Flatus.
Hi.
Listen. I was looking at the list of stuff for December 3rd. We've got the combat iteration. Meh.
Well,
kitchen
it's needed.
props.
I think it's needed. Well, just to touch on the combat, I mean, they were talking about the big update. They had the new armor sets, the new combinations. I played it for a day, and then it was like, ugh. I'm sorry to be critical of it, but it is just not fun to play. I mean, what do you guys out there in chat think about PvP? Have you played it yet? And if you've played it, what are your main concerns about PvP? What's working with PvP? What do you like about it? Because, Snapdragon, a bunch of other players got together. We started experimenting, playing. It's like we just don't understand what we're supposed to be doing. That was our main problem with the PvP.
Round of applause. That is the biggest thing. A lot of it, there's I think PvP is my game, so it is. With PvP,
Excellent.
It frightens me for EverQuest Next, because if this is what EverQuest Next just is going to be, then this is not where they should be heading. They should pull back real quick and go in a different direction. If this is just landmark combat, and this is what they want landmark combat to be, then they need to tighten it up and kind of look at other maybe third-person shooter type games and kind of say, all right, what are they doing and how can we tighten this up for landmark? And I think a lot of people have said, like, you can't have this building aspect and then switch over to this PvP aspect and have different camera angles and stuff. It throws things way off, takes people out of their element, I think, a little bit. And I think that's one thing that they kind of need to, like, separate. Like, all right, this is building mode, this is PvP mode. These are two different camera modes that you're going to have to deal with and learn, especially when you're going into open beta, because one of the things open beta is going to do is, one, you're going to have a lot more people building, and two, you're going to have a lot more people wanting to PvP, especially if people are coming in here to try it, like, oh, I've seen Landmark, now it's open beta. I'm free of having to put any money down. I can try it out. I signed up for beta. I got access. Let me see what this is going on. They're going to hop in there and be like, this PvP is bunk. This isn't. What is this? Like, So then it just becomes, oh, this is a building game with combat tacked on, versus
me personally. I just don't like the whole. Okay, this is all I got to do. This is it. 2 buttons. Oh, wait a minute. I press another button. I got third skill. Okay, that's cool. I'm sorry, but it's boring. To me, it's boring as poop. I would rather be able to get down in there and be like, and actually use combos. And I could actually combo like one skill with another skill. And if I get the correct pattern, I can get bonus damage. That's the one cool thing about having a bunch of skills. I can customize my gameplay the way I want to.
And he never played EverQuest.
I play World of Warcraft, buddy, and I did PvP in World of Warcraft.
All these different skills that you can activate during combat, and I think we need something similar to that, tied to our armor or tied to abilities that you unlock. I don't care how they do it, but
still,
Flatus, where are we going with this? I mean,
let's look at, like, all right, here, perfect example. Let's look at something like Dragon Age Inquisition that just came out. Combat is mouse based, where you click and you do attacks, but you also have your you could still launch special attacks off of that, but you still have the ability to do attack combat. Is that what? And even was it Gold Draco 13 said this is testing right now, to take this as final would be a mistake. I'm not saying it's final. I'm just saying that what's here right now, testing wise, isn't great. And if you're heading to open beta, a lot of people that are coming into open beta, and don't get me wrong, this game now is closing up on its first year, even though it's in beta from an alpha to an open beta. Open betas can make and break a game. In this day and age, early access makes and break a game. Open betas make and break games, and it's a sad truth. It's just a sad truth of today's gaming. People want in early, and if they don't feel, even if it's a free-to-play game, if they don't feel the game is worth their time, they're not going to put their money into it. And the community is going to stay small, and it's not going to profit to SOE's what SOE wants it to make out of it. And then eventually that is it in their eyes is going to go, well, we tried, we'll just stick with EverQuest Next. So you have to look at you can't look at what's current. They have to look at the long game. Like, the long game is like, how can we make this profitable? Because remember, so even though it's free, even though we paid to play this game now, because most of I paid $100, so it says, my name and the credits, yay. Yeah. But a lot of us, also wanted to test out this cool building game. So we have to remember that at the end of the day, SOE is in it for what? They're a company, they need a profit. And
it's like Dyfed just said, Lord of the Rings Online revamped their combat about a year ago, and they basically dumbed down the controls, and the same thing happened, made combat boring and alienated alienated the longtime players. There are people out there, they want a challenge. You want the kids to play. That's cool. And trust me, you slap your kid up behind the head enough times, he will learn that control. So give him more. That's the way I kind of look at it. And but 3 skills, and I got to search all over God's green earth to find the set that I want to use. For that given one skill that I may not have. I want at least 10 skills that I can pick and choose from to give me more options of what I want to do to bash in, say, George's skull.
Yeah, I mean,
bring it.
I think Tao Lurker in chat says, 5 minutes of clicking repeatedly is not fun, and that personally has been my experience with the PvP combat. It's click, 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 and nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Like, I want to see a response. I want to see something, an effect of my actions take place, and unfortunately, it just isn't there. And I think, personally, I'm on the opposite end of that spectrum, Tim. I would like to see less abilities. I would like to see him pull it in, tighten it up, and get it where one ability is powerful enough where I can see the effect. I feel like I'm doing something in the game, and I'm affecting other players. Whereas right now, it just feels like it just isn't there.
It's not, and it almost I would almost say, why don't you look at something like Team Fortress, where it's it's super tight. You have very limited things you can do. Rather, let's say you're the scout. You're super quick. That's your thing. That's your extra bonus. You're super quick, but your health is light. So you have a double jump. So you have these little extra bonuses that you get as that guy, but there's drawbacks. And the same thing for the soldier, the sniper. Each one has a strength, but each one has a weakness, and that's how they balance it out. And I think they kind of need to look at that and balance it out that way, instead of just the sword gives you this much armor. I think there needs to be a pro and a con, to each class, and each one works out well, especially if they're just going to do this team based capture the flag or the deathmatch and stuff. I think that if they went down the team-based side of it, then they could really do that and pull it off really well, especially as many armors and stuff that they want to have out there. Maybe that's the path they want to look at. If they want to open it up to 1 versus 1, that's a different story. Maybe look at something else. But right now, I don't know.
Look, in EverQuest Next, there's gonna be character classes, or not necessarily character classes, but you'll be able to develop your character down a path that's going to have a certain set of abilities. And when it comes to combat, you're going to have classes that you have people that specialize in healing or support roles, and people that specialize in combat and attack roles. And right now, we don't really kind of have that dynamic happening in Landmark Combat.
No, it's just a click fest.
Yeah.
It's like very early Minecraft combat. When I like and like I know people like flame me all the time. It's like it's not Minecraft. I don't care. like, shut up. But you know what? At the end of the day, Minecraft has set a standard almost for what building games should be. Even though it's a different Landmark's trying to set itself up to be a very different type of building game, it still set the standard. Like I know people that can go like I have there are specific servers that let you do PvP in very different ways, and it works. It works really well. It's very simple, but it works.
That's
And
a
that's
great point. And I think it's like you need to build a PvP system that builders can take and use for their own purposes, right? And right now, with the complexity of their system and how it's just so difficult to use, we can't, as a builder, I can't even utilize the PvP system in the ways that I want to build or that I want to use them, you know, to create custom games or whatever it may be. So
Yeah.
I think we're all in agreement. It needs a lot of work. It's not going in the right direction. And I hope that they're listening and that they take another look at the PvP system.
They're always listening. You got to trust me on that. They are always listening. If they're not logged into the chat, they're in here anonymously, just checking that out, or they're catching the reruns.
All right, so let me run through the list because we're running out of time here real quick. We have new kitchen props coming, so that'll be pretty cool. We get some plates and stuff.
bacon.
Bacon. Hopefully we get bacon. We got new tooltips, item comparisons. Yeah.
I would rather see swords and hammers and that sort of thing rather than kitchen supplies. You know, give me a shield, give me a sword, something I can hang on the wall. You know, I'm working on a blacksmith right now. I'm working on a blacksmith. I can't make a blacksmith because I ain't got a
and we
blacksmith
know it
hammer.
exists, right? We already have the swords and the bows in the game as models. So give it to us, guys, right?
If SOE put in a class that was a chef that carried a big like a shield that was a plate and a butter knife as a weapon, I'd play that guy. Get on it, Sony.
Get on it. Nice. We got VoIP coming, so that'll be cool. And I think that's going to be, I'm not sure if it's going to be VoIP alone or if we're going to get the SOE mode with that, but definitely excited because it's moving towards that direction.
I believe that's the first stage of SOE mode. That will basically set it up to where they can implement SOE mode.
So that's awesome.
That'll believe
be really cool.
If what I've heard so far, that is the first step towards SOE mode.
Right on. So we're going to be getting claim vendors. That'll be cool. I think he said it's just going to be like a chest that people can access to buy things. So that should help with like economy. People who want to, go mine materials and get copper for it or what. However, I guess they're going to be implementing a coin system. Or what was the name of the coins? I know there's a special name out there for the coins that they're going to be using.
It's called SJs.
So jumpers. We're going to get, now this is interesting. Historical graphing for Player Studio. So that's cool. So I guess we're going to get some like excellent feedback on what's selling, what's not selling, how we can make money in Landmark with building templates. Because, honestly, I was sold on this game with the idea that I could be a developer. I can build stuff. I could build games that could potentially make money. And I think a lot of people out there are also, looking for that opportunity because really the best way to prove yourself as a game designer is to prove that you can sell something. That's the golden thing that everyone's after. So Player Studio is an excellent way to do that. And I think having that historical graphing, hopefully they'll give us a lot more features with the Player Studio because right now it's really bare bones, as Tim alluded to earlier. So, but that's coming December 3rd, so that'll be really cool. And we have a bunch of stuff on the 10th and the 17th coming. I don't want to get into all that because we are running out of time here. But as we close up the show, I want to go around and talk to you guys about what you're doing this week in Landmark, what's going on with you. I know, Gio, this morning we had an awesome time going visit a bunch of claims.
Indeed, man. That was fantastic.
So, Gio, you do 5 days a week of the morning brew every morning. Or every weekday morning where you go and visit people's claims and all that stuff. So that's what else you got going on?
It's Lousy and I co-host the Morning Brew. It's the most exciting morning show anywhere on Twitch. It's a lot of fun. We just go do crazy stuff, man. There's so much stuff to see in Landmark. we never run out. So every day is a different theme. Happy
You're
accidents.
always
happen all the
rocking
time.
music.
It's fun. It's a fun time. Come join us.
Very fun, yes. So make sure to give Gio a follow. Timo, what do you got going on this week?
I start my new job tomorrow.
Oh, you got a job. Congratulations, man.
I start my new job tomorrow morning, but I'm still going to keep on pressing on with the tutorials, and of course with the Twitch streaming as much as I can. Got to make money somehow, so I'll be doing that. I've got the company I'm working with right now is actually really, really good. I got a really nice job with them. So
awesome. Really glad to hear that, Tim. So, and by the way, guys, if you haven't seen Tima's tutorials, go check out his YouTube channel. If you want to post that in chat for them, please do that. And Flatus, what do you got going on this week?
Evercast.
Evercast show. Sunday, right?
Yeah,
8
this
o'clock.
Sunday. This show is this weekend. Tanlin and Kylos will not be there, as far as we know at this moment, and Chewina and I will be running the show again. So if you saw that the first time, boy howdy, the second time's probably going to be even better. Because if you have the two most unqualified people to run a podcast, that would be Chewy and I.
Right on.
Jeez.
I'm excited to watch that. All right, guys. Well, my name is Cody. This has been Landmark Weekly, and I want to thank all of you guys out in chat for hanging out with us today. And as always, don't forget, keep up on your upkeep.